Well, how good's cricket been over the last couple of weeks? Australia beating the West Indies, bowling them out for 27. Mitchell Starc, probably the best spell I have ever seen in Test cricket. It was awesome. And the way that he just delivered those deliveries, if he was playing against England, India, Pakistan, I still reckon he would have ended up with 4 for, if not 5 for, in the same spell. It was the most perfect spell of bowling you are ever going to see by a fast bowler with the new ball in a test match to start off the innings. And then we've got India just slightly losing it against England out Lords. It's a game they should have won. There are a few little moments that cost them throughout the test match. And I've got a guest on who's going to be asking me some questions about that series and the Australia-West Indies series and a few other scintillating questions as well. So let's get this live underway. If you want to be able to join me like Prashant is from Nepal right now, you get one of those Google forms, fill it out, and you can chat with me live here. Prashant, I'm just going to start with you. You're from Nepal. What got you interested in cricket? What was that first moment that got you interested in cricket?
I think the first memory was just playing in front of the seniors or my colleagues in front of the house somewhere in the street of Nepal. And obviously watching, I just remember my first memory was against the India versus Bangladesh, just casually changing the TV channels. And just when you started playing cricket, it was just a lot of fun. You don't care about anything. It just gives you some sort of satisfaction. Probably that's fall in love of cricket. The more you get into it, the more you love.
Right. What is that? What's the most fascinating thing about cricket that really makes you love watching Test cricket right now?
I think it's about the 5 days of hard fought cricket. You can just have 4 days of dominance and you can just lose from that one session. I can't remember who told that, but probably someone, it was Ricky Ponting who told you can just lose the series because of one session, but you can't win just because of the one session in Test cricket. I think that's the best part. You has to go again and again. You has to just come back overnight, just to leave everything that you have done another day and just keep for the same game. I think that's the best part you can have in Test cricket.
Yeah, so what you're saying there is the one moment might cost you a session, but it's not going to cost you the test match. So it's about having that resilience to be able to turn things around. And that's what I love about Test cricket. Now, you're studying aerospace, engineering aerospace. Just before we get into the cricket questions, what does that actually entail? Aerospace, engineering in aerospace. Give us a bit of detail there.
I think it's about the combination of two, aeronautics and astronautics, bit of airplanes, aircraft, helicopters, this sort of things, and some maybe outer space vehicles too. Yeah, and I think the most fun part about is you are not just within the boundary of the earth. You can just study about something different. You can contribute that the world is trying to move somewhere away from our earth. So I think that's the best fascinating thing that I really loved about my field when I just first listened and researched into it, and still fascinated with the same thing and still motivating me to do the same.
Yep, right. Yeah. Just before we get into the questions for me, what would be your biggest goal in life then? Mine was wearing the baggy green, playing Test cricket for Australia. What would you like to achieve with your skill set when you turn 60? If you're looking at yourself once you turn 60, what would you like to have achieved?
Probably that's too far ahead, but maybe it's just the one new thing that the world is looking, maybe some contribution in the field, something different that world is searching for it. If I could just give the answer of at least one thing, probably that will give me that will make me satisfied just lying on the bed somewhere around 60s.
Yeah, rightio. So just one little thing that can change the world moving forward. You're in an interesting space there and exciting, and good luck with that. So let's get into the cricket and the questions that you've got for me. What have you got first up?
Okay, just first let's start with the India England series. That's the hot topic right now. Just
Yep.
despite of the series, what I want to say, I just don't want to talk about the players right now. What I want to know from you, the England are making the flat type of pitches that are not the what are used to see, that we were used to see in the England. There was much more of swing and there were green pitches, but you can understand why they are giving. But don't you think that is just taking the essence of the test cricket? Because the pitches are different in the different part of the world, especially in red ball. Because maybe when you go to Bangladesh, there is slow and low type of pitch. Australia, those pace, those bounce, and England, for those swings. But in this series, you have barely seen that. Apart from those few first 10 or 20 overs, you have barely seen the swing that England was known for. Do you think that is just hampering the essence of Test cricket rather than anything else?
I think I'm not too worried about the pitches as such. I think the pitches over in England so far have been sensational. All three Test matches have gone the distance, which is exciting. And if you look at the Lord's Test match, I just thought it was absolutely brilliant that the ball started to move a lot more in days 4 and 5, and that's exactly what we want in Test cricket. If you're in England, you want that you want the ball to start deviating off the pitch, a little bit of up and down movement, but also that reverse swing as well coming in. And I think we're starting to see that in England with the dry pitch. If we're over in India, we'd like to see flatter pitches in the first 3 days, and then days 4, 5, where the game really hurries up, spin comes in, adds a bit of a different atmosphere to the game. I think we've got to try and get the game to go to 5 days. I just love the way that the batters are taking the game on, or trying to take the game on, and I love the way that the bowlers have to adapt as well. So the Lord Test match was just perfect Test match cricket, where it was good for batting in the first couple of days, and harder to bat in the last day. India lost that Test match because of one moment, and I know that out the start we talked about one moment doesn't define a Test match, but this was a critical moment. Pant getting run out trying to get Rahul on strike to get his 100 just before lunch. Then Rahul coming out after lunch because he hadn't got that 100, gets his 100, and then he's celebrating, and he hasn't refocused to get back on track for the next ball. And he played a terrible shot against Bashir, get caught behind. They lost 2 wickets in 10 balls, and after having a partnership of 140 on top of England. They could have been in front of England after the first innings, and that would have set up for a better game on the last day, because you knew that game, there was a little bit of heat around, and the pitch was going to wear and tear. You knew that was going to happen, and it was going to be a little more difficult on day 5. India let the ball slip earlier on in the Test match, and they couldn't fight back out the back end. So for me, it doesn't matter what pitch has been put out there. Players have to adapt to the conditions, just like you with your work. You've got to adapt to what's presented in you. Something might happen where that invention goes completely left field, and all of a sudden you've got something completely different that's a lot better than what you originally thought. It's the same with cricket. You've got to adapt to the conditions that are presented, and take the game on from that aspect. So for me, I think the pitches have been great over there in England. And I actually like the fact that wherever you travel in the world, pitches are different, and you've got home ground advantage. It's up for the team that's travelling to adapt to those conditions. And Nathan Lyon said something perfect the other day. He said, "I don't want to retire until we beat India in India." And that just says a lot, because it's tough conditions for Australians to go over to India to play there. You want that challenge, and that's what Test cricket's all about. And I love the fact that you're young, you're in uni, and you love Test cricket. So that tells me that it's got plenty of legs moving forward.
Okay, nice to
Yeah.
hear something from you about this. But definitely, the different pitch are the beauty of the Test cricket. Probably different conditions, different pitches.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Should we move forward?
Yeah. Move forward, mate. Yeah. Number 2, questions 2. Sorry about that.
Okay. Okay, so I think the constant debate whenever the games are just outside of the subcontinent are the over rates that's constantly in the talk. Whenever you play either being South Africa, Australia, or England, where the more the fast bowlers bowl, there is the debate of quality over quantity every time. And I think it has been since 2022. England hasn't completed their over of quota of 90 overs in a day despite of adding half an hour. What's your take on this, and how could we manage make the balance of quality and quantity?
It's a very good question because as a player and the personality that I had, I wanted the game to keep going. I wanted to move fast. But when I look at the bigger picture, cricket is and Test cricket is about telling a big story. It's about the storyline. It's about the players' presence out in the middle. It's about the players' intent. So when things aren't going as fast, there's slow over rates there. It's okay as long as there's tension in the game. So we want that tension in the game. We want the player's character to be showing in the game as well. And we want the storyline on a nice edge. If there's nothing happening in the game, there's no tension in the game, there's no intent in the game at that stage, the game's just meandering along, well, then we've got to push the over rate. But when we get to that side of it where there's a lot of tension out there, the fans are engaged, the players are engaged, the umpires are engaged, the commentators have actually something to say about a strong storyline to the game. I don't mind the slow over rate. I remember watching the West Indies play. They had 4 prong pace attack. They probably had the slowest over rate that we've ever seen in Test cricket. But the good thing about it was that there was always tension in the game. You're always looking at it and going, is the batsman going to survive this onslaught of quick bowling? So that it had that tension. You were on the edge of your seat. And that, as long as it's got the tension, slow over rate is good because that's quality cricket. But if there's no tension, no storyline, then it goes to quantity. What do you think about that?
I'm all for the quality. There is absolutely no
Yeah.
doubt. There is no many of just part timers just coming, running, and just delivering just to complete the quota. But I think there should be some balance. Just India other day bowled 77 overs only. England just bowled 83 overs, and that day Root was on 99 not out. If I'm going there, I'm giving my time, I'm giving my money. I will definitely wanna see Joe Root just getting his 100 and clapping for him. And probably in the last 7 overs the sun going down, maybe more swing, that might also hit the game because you get the new ball after 80 overs. I'm all for the quality, but it can't be just one team bowling 77 overs. I think there should be a balance. How? I don't know right now, but I think you need to find the way.
Exactly right, and it's very difficult to find that balance. And you just talked about Joe Root there. You also talked about the Indian bowlers as well. So it's a bit of cat and mouse. So when you're talking about games in England, you're trying to save the energy of your fast bowlers, especially when that ball softens and it's the batsmen are taking control through those middle overs. And when we saw on days 4 and 5 of Lords, it started to move a little bit more, both off the pitch and a little bit in the air as well. There's some big swinging deliveries there. All of a sudden, you're on top of the batsman. So as a bowler, you want to make sure that you're keeping the pressure on the batsman who's in a defensive mindset rather than a positive mindset. And when he's in that defensive mindset, you want to keep rushing him and rushing him and rushing him so he can't calm down. So that's where the game ebbs and flows. And that's where, when you've got a great understanding of the game, you've got the quality and quantity there, just being able to slow the tempo down out the right moments and quicken up out the right moments. What about those tension times of Shane Warne or Harbishan or a quality spinner where it's the third ball of the over and they've taken a minute and a half to set the field and the batsman's thinking, and then he just comes in and bowls the same delivery, but because the batsman's thinking, because of a change in field, and the bowler has made the batsman think about the change of field, all of a sudden he's created that mindset change of the batsman, and then able to pounce on it, just bowling the same delivery that he bowled the previous ball. That's what I like about quality of cricket, not quantity of cricket. So when I go back to what my original answer, it's about the intent, the tension of the game. The storyline that's being projected by the players out there, and then the commentators play a part in that by giving us a feedback of what's actually going through the batsman's mind and the bowler's mind at that stage, and what actually the fielders have to be looking forward to. Because you've got to understand what the bowler's trying to do to the batsman as a fielder to make sure you capitalise on that opportunity when it does come. So it's a collective mindset out there. So that is a great question. It's a good question. So I was always overrate. Got to get it going. But once you asked me this question, I've just thought about quality and quantity. It's about quality, attention. Oh, we've got a question there. We got. Yeah, I just got a question here from Akshat, and Prashant, you can help me out here. Will India go with Arshdeep Singh in place of Nitish Reddy or Kuldeep over Washington? Go Arshdeep with over Nitish Reddy and Kuldeep over Washington. Looking out Manchester pitch, going to assist seamers. Prashant, you've got a similar question, haven't you, coming up with that?
Right now, just now, not, but
Yeah.
if you think, I don't think India is going to do this sort of thing. I am all for just going for the extra bowler just to keep that intensity for all the overs, but probably may not be the one that we all want to see. But I don't think GG and Suman Gill will do this.
Yeah. I think Arshdeep Singh coming in for Nitish Reddy, Akshat, is probably not ideal. I think you want to keep Reddy there. The reason being is you need extra depth in the batting. But Arshdeep Singh, I think, should come in for Boomer if Boomer is going to be rested. I think Krishna has had his day. He's been tried and tested. It hasn't come off. I think Thakur, he'd be a good option, but I just don't think he's fit enough, especially if you're going in with one less bowler and you've still got Nitish Reddy there with your batting depth. So for me, I think they've got to give Arshdeep Singh a go if they're going to bring in Boomer. And when I say that, it's about options. You want to have that presence. Boomer has that presence. Arshdeep Singh's going to have that presence because he's shown that he can do it in one-day cricket. It's a duke ball. The ball can swing. He's new. He hasn't had an opportunity at Test cricket. He'll be absolutely wanting this opportunity. And I just think you've got to go with fresh blood there. Someone who wants to go out there, get in the heat of the battle, doesn't have that weight on his shoulders of not performing in previous Test matches. Just go out there, let it happen. Left arm swinger adds a point of difference. When it comes to Kuldeep and Washington Sundar, you can either get rid of a Reddy for Kuldeep or Ready for Sundar. Sunday for Kuldeep. So I'd keep Reddy in there because you need that extra seamer. I think Reddy's showing that he can do a little bit of damage with the swinging ball. He is a little bit slower than what Tarkor is, but if he's moving the ball, English batsmen might want to go after him if there's pressure applied from the other end, and that's where he comes into good contention with the ball. But I think he still offers a lot with the bat. But for me, I wouldn't bring Kuldeep in. I'd keep the team as it is. I'd just swap Arshdeep Singh for Boomerang if Boomerang can't play. And as I said, he doesn't have that weight on his shoulders of not performing in previous test matches. It will be his first test match. He's already played international cricket in one days and T20s. He's proven his worth there. I think he'll be right for the Duke ball. And don't take history with first-class cricket. He averages 30 in first-class cricket. That's on Indian soil. We're over in England where the ball does a lot more and the pitches do a lot more. Asha, that's a great question. What do you think, Prashant, with that answer?
I agree with you. And one more thing to add, I think India will just say they had 3 out of 4 innings. India were in the top with the same lineup.
Yep.
Because it was just in the last innings they just fell short by 22 runs. Either being second test where they changed the combination, they won, and even in the first it was neck and neck. So I don't think they will change. Definitely, if Bumrah is not there, I think it's time for the Arshdeep to come with his height, with his variety of left armor. I think Arshdeep is. I think Prasid is struggling in the English condition just to pitch the ball up and swinging. He was so good in Sydney in the last test of the summer, but definitely not now in England.
Yeah, and Arshdeep Singh there just said, what about Karun Nair at number 3? Now, that is an interesting question as well. He's got a couple of 40s in the Test series so far. The only thing with Karun Nair, if I was Gambia, I'd just be looking at how he is with his mindset. Is he being a little bit hesitant at the present moment? Is he a little bit unsure of the way that he wants to play? There's a couple of balls which have risen on him where he's just dabbed at it rather than playing with soft hands. So what's his mindset like? If his mindset is a little bit tentative, he's not backing himself, then I'd bring in Sudarasan, give him another opportunity, because I just think youth, spirit, I just think sometimes outweighs a good resume that Karun Nair has. So it would only be on Karun Nair's mindset at the present moment. If he's still confident in the change rooms, still knows what he wants to, what he's about, still knows the way that he wants to play out in the middle, and he's confident with that, I'd stick with Nair. But if his confidence is low, I'd bring in the youngster. Prashant, what would you think about that?
Probably just split with the thought. Because Karun is constantly getting those starts. He's just getting to 30s and 40s. It's not that he's just looking out of sorts and he's just getting out in the first ball or just within the 10, 20 balls, because he's constantly getting those 30 and 40s. It's just about he's not able to just kick in and go on to make the big, that what you expect from the year number 3, I think. And that's a bit of missing piece for India too, I believe. I think probably with his experience, and we have seen in domestic cricket, even in international cricket, once he makes it big, he can make it really big. He has got double 100, triple 100 in domestic cricket too. And not to forget, he has been superb with the catching in the slips. That's one of the another asset when you catching in England with those moving balls. I think you need a specialist in, and Karun has been the best from both the teams, what I believe, with his techniques and with his catching too. So probably one more game.
Yep. I absolutely love what you've just brought up there, because it's just not about batting; it's about fielding as well. And he adds that in the slips. That is a perfect analyst of Karun Nair. So yeah, give him, as I said, just give him the opportunity if he's still confident with the bat and what he wants to do. I think there's one player that India might look at in that top order, and that's Jaswal at the present moment with Archer. He just looked a little bit tentative against Archer the other day, and that was a little bit of a concern. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts or responds in this fourth Test match against Archer. That matchup is crucial because if he can counteract Archer, slow him down, and Nia can as well, then we'll see the best of Gill as well. So good question. Question, Arshat Singh. Now, what's your next question, mate? You've got a few there.
Yeah, I think I just wanna move from England to the Caribbean side. I just wanna get into the Australia and Indies series, and in that, I agree the pitches were tough, but Australia batting, especially the top order, really struggle with Sam Constance averaging under 10 or something. Khwaja didn't look great either. Even Cameron Green did look at the latter stage, got 240s, but Australia batting has not kicked in and just be at its best that we were used to see. Probably they were. I was just looking the stats few time back, and Australia were number one and number two with their top three batting averages about 40 from 2015 to 2023. But since David Warner's retirement, they have been fifth out of the 9 countries that are currently playing the Test cricket, and that's not the good sign for Australia. And who do you think Australia can bring in, or do you will stick with Sam Constance, Usman Khwaja just to get rid of the batting trouble? And another thing is all the Aussie quicks. It's so great to have top five, your best five bowlers in the top 10 of ICC rankings, but they all are in around mid 30s. Some above that, some just below that, who are the next gen bowlers, especially in the pacer. Because in spinners, I could see Todd Murphy, Swipshen, or even uh, left armer Matt Kuhneman. But in pacer, who is the next gen fast bowler for Australia?
Oh, look, the fast bowling department is a little bit of a concern at the moment because we've had those fast bowlers for a long period of time. So I'm going to have to look harder at that one on that side. That's something that there's a Marley. There's a kid called Marley here from Western Australia. I've seen him in the Big Bash, and he was quick. He executed a good Yorker, executed a great bouncer, on the money with both, and hits a good line and length. So watch out for him. Other than that, the fast bowling stocks over here in Australia, it's up for grabs. And the age is a big concern for me. When we're talking about the batting stocks, what I'm worried about that top order, it just shows how good David Warner was actually, and how much we miss him. Khawaja at the moment is a big concern. Yes, he's getting of age. He's a little bit late with his footwork. He's playing from the crease. He's not using his feet as he used to, and he's getting caught out LBW quite a lot on the crease. So how long are they going to stick with Khawaja? You can't just have another fanfare tour for him just to finish his career off over here in England. He's got to be performing in that Ashes Test series. Otherwise, he's going to have to move on. He's been an absolute gem of a player over the years. I just like to see him finish on a high because he deserves it. When it comes to Constance, I'll go to Cameron Green first. Actually, Cameron Green out number 3. I thought he did really well over there in the West Indies. He was struggling in the first Test match. A lot of Australian media was saying, why is he batting out 3? Hasn't got the technique, but he adjusted well. He faced more balls than any other batsman in that series on trying testing conditions with the new ball. So he's adapted, and he came out trumps. He had the 3rd best average and the 3rd most runs, I think, in the series. So I'm not worried about Green out 3. When it comes to Constance, the one thing I'm worried about Constance is he came on the scene and attacked Boomerang in his first Test match and put Boomerang off his line and length. And then then the next Test match, he was trying to do the same thing. He got a little bit carried away with his aggressive nature here in Australia in first-class cricket. There's a lot of talk about him. The coaches might be talking about changing his approach to the game. Now, he's a confident player. He wants to go after the bowling. He wants to play his shots. I think you've got to be very careful when you're trying to get a player to change his game. You've got to get him to own it. You can't tell him what to do. So for me, I think the way that they've approached Constas and the way that he's played in the West Indies, he looks very hesitant. He's unsure of his game because he's not owning it. He's trying to bat what other people are trying to get into play as. So he's trying to play for the happiness or for appeasing other people's comments and the selectors and coaches. He's not playing his natural game. So for me, it's about sitting him down and just going, right, how do you want to approach it? What's the best way of you approaching it? Let him decide what he's going to do and let him go out and play with conviction. He wasn't playing with conviction like he did against India over in the West Indies. He was very hesitant. So for me, it's all about mindset for Constas, and I'd like to see him have another go against the English bowlers and let him play with freedom in that Ashes series. I think he'll do really well over here in Australian conditions. I think he'll turn things around, just as long as the coaches let him own his game. For me, I'd go back to McSweeney as an opening batter, maybe, or I'd go with Sam Whiteman, who's from WA. He's in his mid-30s, but we saw Adam Boges not play till he's 35, and he averaged 63 in Test cricket. And he played 30 Test matches. So someone like Sam Whiteman could be an opportunity. Or I'd even go with Inglis from Western Australia. The reason why I'd go with Inglis, doesn't open much for Western Australia, but he's an adaptable player. He's played a variety of roles for Western Australia and succeeded out those roles under pressure. And I think he could survive as an opening bat for Australia and play as a frontline batter, not as a keeper. You're keeping Kerry down out the lower order. So that's how I'd go with our top order. Yeah.
Agreed, but I think bit just Stevie Smith also not in his prime age, and just Wester, it's looking a bit dark for Australia just after those series, especially when we have just big series like SS coming up. Definitely, Pat Cummins before the last summer says age won't be a number for just keeping a player out from our team. But
yeah,
I don't know how long it can go if you don't have runs to back your side. And Usman really struggle. Apart from that one beginnings that he has in Sri Lanka, he also does not look too good. Neither in WTC, neither in the series against India, nor here. So interesting time for Australian.
Very, very interesting time for Australia. I just think I wouldn't worry too much about Australia, because when England come out here, it's going to be game on. And Steve Smith, Travis Head, even Cameron Green, Carey, they'll be all up for the fight when it comes to England. And you'll see the young guys that come in to fill the void in opening the batting, or Cameron Green out number 3. You'll see it go to a new level. When you're playing the West Indies with the depleted lineup that they actually have, and the pitch over there that they played on, sometimes you don't play to the best of your ability. So you know how when you're at work or you're doing your studies, your energy levels are going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's just like cricket. A series, your energy will be up here for England to India. And then when you're playing Sri Lanka or the West Indies, sometimes you just drop off a little bit, and which is in a dangerous scenario when you're in that series, when you have to play catch up when you're behind the 8 ball. But your body changes to the standard of play or the standard of opposition that you're playing against.
That's coming out from the art of Aussie against the Englishman.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's. I know that it sounds a little bit rude, but it just happens. It really just happens. and the more you fight it, the harder it gets. So you've just got to let your body go with it and just trust your skills.
Uh, Nice to hear that. And one interesting that the follow up question that I want to mention is you have just taken the name of Josh English, and hasn't batted much either, even in the domestic cricket for opening the
Mm.
batting. So why you think that he definitely is rated so highly in the Australian circuit that we all know he, but do you really think in the red ball moving top of the
Mm.
order, do you think he can be the best available in Australia, or it's just about we don't have the best, let's search who is the best even in the down order and just put the best batsman rather than the best opening batsman?
Yeah. Oh, look, that's a good point too. Um, Australia went into the West Indies picking their best six batsmen and then picking the order around those best six batsmen, which is dangerous because the opening batting position is a very important position. Openers are a different breed. So when you are talking about Inglis, I contradict myself in that regard. But I just think he's got the technique for it. He's got the attitude for it. And the other reason why he's been not opening for West Australia is simply because he's a keeper as well. So when you're playing long form cricket, you don't want your keeper opening the batting because it's just too much wear and tear on the body, and you don't get him time to rest to come out and bat after he's keeping. So that's why if he was keeping for Australia, I wouldn't have him opening the batting. Would you agree with that?
Probably yes. I also like how he plays, but it's just because opening is a specialist position, and even some of the best batter could not just go there and just click it. The recent example when Stevens is just averaging 28 or something when he just move up the order and just coming down, he's just different list altogether. So that was just a
Yeah.
bit of caution, apart not anything else.
Yep. And Marley Beardman is the bowler that I want you to look out for. Marley Beardman. Uh, he watch out for him in the next year or two, getting an opportunity for Australia. I just think he's going to be the next best thing. Yeah.
Hopefully the injuries won't also affect, because the summer or before that, Lance Morris just come into the hype. Just everyone thought he is the man. Just play him. He is just firing all guns. But just that's sometimes happen with too quick when to the with the fast bowlers, they just fall off the radar just because of injury or something else. Hopefully that won't affect him.
You brought up a good name there, Lance Morris. He's in his 30s, so that's why I haven't mentioned him. But he has been touring with Australia for a long period of time, or for a couple of years. So you look at the injuries that he's actually had. He's been sitting on the bench watching the Test matches go on, rather than playing Shield cricket back home, keeping the body ticking over. I think that's one thing with fast bowlers, especially with the likes of Lance Morris and the quicker bowlers. They've got to be still playing a lot of cricket, keep the body ticking over. So I think Australia, with workloads and such, should be thinking about, right, let's keep Lance Morris bowling in Shield cricket. If we have an injury, we can always fly him over and play in the next Test match. So that's where I think someone like, or the next generation of fast bowlers coming through, don't let them sit on the bench and watch the game. Get them going and playing Shield cricket so that they get their workloads under their belt and move forward and try and prevent that injury, the injury problems that we do have with our fast bowlers. Because we don't want the scenarios like Jofra Archer being out of the Test arena for another 4 years. We want Mark Wood back. If Mark Wood and Jofra Archer are playing in the Ashes series next year, that's just going to create even more hype and more sensation. And we won't have to worry about overrates there because the tension will be up and running. I'll just ask you a question there. I love going over to the subcontinent, watching spin, take control where overs are being bowled, and the games. There's always a ball being bowled quickly. But do you like the tension where you've got the likes of Jofra Archer and Mark Wood that can bowl 145, 150? Would you rather see 70 overs of cricket being bowled in the day with Jofra Archer and Mark Wood being able to bowl 25 overs, maybe 30 overs between them of absolute heat of 150 plus? Or would you rather see them bowl 135, 140 at the end of the day, trying to get the 90 overs in play?
I think it's just no-brainer. You just wanna see. There's no better sight than watching a fast bowler running, streaming in, and just in the face of the batsman. I think, you just said you just will love to see Mark Wade and Jofra Archer together. That will create the hype. I don't know how much Aussie batsman will love to face them in the series ahead, but I think
Yep.
what a side that will be. Probably just two of the quickest bowling lineup. Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark from here. Even Josh Hazlewood is quick, and from there, Mark Wade, Jofra Archer. Bryden Cards was decent bowling 145 constantly this series. And not to forget Gus Atkinson, he too can bowl around 140s. So it just is a mouth-watering contest, isn't it? Just can't wait to get the end of this year for the SS.
Yep. No, that's awesome, because I remember watching the West Indies, just that pace and just putting pressure on the batsman. And I remember fielding on the fence when Brett Lee was bowling to Brian Lara in a test match at Trinidad in 2003. And I was sitting with a bit of a crowd behind me, and Brett Lee was bowling like the wind. And Brian Lara was taking him on. You'd see the sway from a bouncer. Then the next bouncer would be trying to take it on. Then a good length ball, Lara's trying to take it on. But just the excitement of the West Indies crowd, just seeing pace against good quality batting, it just goes back to what I was saying before. Just that tension in the game. You could feel it around the ground. You could feel it on the TV. And that's quality over quantity, and that's what we want in Test cricket. So the Ashes series is looming to be good. Now we better get going, because we've got you've got another couple of questions, have you?
I think. Would you
just
take
before
the question first? Oh,
yeah, let's take the question. It's Anupam. Anupam, how you going? Since pink ball matches are consistently ending within 3 days, should we consider phasing them out entirely? Anupam, should we? It depends on the contest. It's a tough one, that question. It is really tough. For me, I'm starting to like the pink ball test match, but when you've got an Ashes series or an India-Australia series, and that pink ball test match could change the sway of the series, that concerns me. If England and India had played as much pink ball as Australia, well, fair enough. But if they haven't, I think it makes the contest a little uneven. That's where I worry about the pink ball test. On a crowd perspective, for Indian TV as well, because over in Australia, I think the test match starts a little early, so you're still in bed there. The pink ball test match starts a little bit later, so you can watch from ball one till the rest of the game. So yeah, I like the pink ball test match, but it's got to have its place, and both both teams have got to have played a similar amount of pink ball test matches. You can't have an uneven contest, because the pink ball is a different kettle of fish to see as a batsman, and if you're not used to it, it can be quite difficult out in the middle. And some players are colourblind as well, and it can be quite difficult to see that pink ball. So we've got to be careful of that. I think under lights as well, I can't understand why we still can't use the red ball. I think we should try and attempt that, because the red ball's a little bit more even than the pink ball as well. So that's something we I don't know. That's something that we can look at. Can we lighten up the red ball? So it's a good one. Anupam, whacking up there again. What's your take on the whole Duke's ball issues? Well, the whole Duke ball issue. What do you think, mate? I'll let you go first. Sean?
The best. I think Stuart Broad explained it so nicely. I think he just told the ball should be like the wicket keeper. You don't talk much of fun about his wicket keeping, but he plays the important part in the game. I think ball should last at least 80 over. You can't have just changing the ball in just 10 over. I think probably that's could one of the factor for the over rate going down too. I think Duke should do something. I think it has been last 4 or 5 years. I think I can't remember a ball that lasted for 80 overs when I have watched the full. Definitely I haven't watched all those matches, but I think they should do something. And was listening to Duke's owner, he was saying we are trying for it, but I don't think it, because Ravi Ashwin thought Dukes is the best ball few years back, and he thought if we can bring it to even in subcontinent India, it will offer more to even spinners and pacer both.
Yep.
But I think the ball has gotten soft way too earlier and out of the shape way too earlier. I think you should fix this issue. This is just irritating even to watch.
Yeah, they do have to fix the issue, and there's nothing worse than slowing the game down for a change of ball. I think it astounds me how you can have such a quality ball, and then all of a sudden, over a 4-year period, the quality of that ball has gone down. So they're playing around with the ball a little bit too much. They've got to get back onto their best Duke's ball. If they can't do it, what are the other options over there in England? Would the Kookaburra last over in England as well? The SG ball. But one thing I've never really liked the Duke's ball, even bowling with it. I find it slippery. But I didn't bowl with it much as well. I'm more of a Kookaburra man. I like the way that it sits in the hand. But again, going back to earlier points, batsmen or players on the wickets, you've got to adapt to the wickets. You have to adapt to the different balls. Dukes have to find a way to stop this problem going forward. It's as simple as that. If they don't, England or the ECB will have to find another ball to try and use in first class cricket. They should be testing other balls in first class cricket as well to see what ball stands up in English conditions. I think the Duke's ball is probably better in the wetter conditions, especially early on in the season over in England. I don't think the Kookaburra would last as well as the Duke's ball in the wetter conditions. But when it's dry conditions, the Kookaburra is definitely the better option. But that's my biased opinion. And I'd like to go with that. Have you got one more question?
Just to complete this about the Duke's ball, I think Rob Key has just tried to play with the Kookaburra this season in some of the domestic games, and they were just dull. Results don't come out, and the teams were scoring 600, 700 runs. I don't think that's working there too. So I think we should move to next question.
Yeah, well, you bring up a good point there too. The Duke's ball has a higher steam, so it does a little bit more off the pitch than what the Kookaburra does. And if you look at the Duke's balls that are being used here in Australia, it's just too much for the conditions over here. It's very difficult for the batsmen. So really, it does come back down to the Duke's manufacturers. They've got to find a way to make the ball last longer. They can't have it the way it is right now. But then the ball's got to be out of shape to change it. It can't be the softness of the ball. It's got to be out of shape to change it. And if it gets softer, it is going to be out of shape. So that's one thing with the Dukes. All right, Prashant, get to the next question, mate.
So my another question, what's your take on the 2-tiered test cricket, WTC, and the 4 days test cricket? Probably you just force every 12 teams to play the test cricket, just divide them into the 6 group of each, top six and the bottom six, and you can do just relegation and promotion system for one team each, and just the top two teams of the top group plays the WTC final, where they play probably the 5 days of test cricket of the 3, 4, or 5 game series, and just play 4 day is game against the bottom tier team, because you don't that great contest to when you have one the bigger team that's constantly performing, and one up slightly below side, even in the ICC rankings or something, like even just in the Australia and West Indies series, there it's up and it's difference, isn't it?
Yeah, look, I think there's a lot of question marks over where they want to go with cricket. So you've got to look at the ICC. Have got to look at financial scenarios. You know, what investment do they want to put into other teams? You can't have the West Indies getting paid what they are, and then India, England, and Australia getting paid what they are. There's such a gap in the financial rewards for the players. That's why we see a lot of players from West Indies wanting to play the T20 formats, because they get paid a lot more there. That it's better for their own personal pockets. But in saying that, if that continues, then the West Indies cricket is going to fall away, because they won't have the quality players, because there's no one to look up to in the West Indian cricket. They're all playing these T20 tournaments, and I don't think too many people are just going to watch T20 tournaments around the globe when there's no cricket being played on their home soil, even though they've got their own T20 tournament. When it comes to 4-day cricket, I don't think we should be going to 4-day test matches. I think 5-day test matches. We shouldn't be shortening the game. Test cricket's about resilience. Test cricket's about the storyline, as we talked about earlier. Test cricket's about the tension that you create in the middle, and you do that over a 5-day period. It's about adjusting to changing conditions out in the middle. So you've got a 5-day wicket. It's going to change as the day goes along, or as the days go along. So players have got to adapt. And then you go back to the tier system. I think the tier system is a great idea, but then we could have had a scenario with a tier system where England were way down the bottom of the ladder, yet we want England playing against Australia and India, because they're the prize competitions. I think I'm just going to take a big step back here from the question and just sit there and go, right, where do we want cricket at the moment? We've got all these T20 tournaments around the globe. Let's have those T20 tournaments. Let's define how many T20 tournaments we're going to have, and let those tournaments be played in certain parts of the calendar throughout the year. Don't play any T20 international matches or one-day international matches in the bye series. Just have them as World Cups every couple of years. The other thing is too, you want less international cricket, but when you have less international cricket, you want more Test cricket in that. So that's why you get rid of the bye series and just have World Cups in T20s and 50-over cricket. But the other thing is too, when you have two-tiered system, you don't want England and India and Australia playing against each other more often than they are now, because you want that tension being built up between each series. If they play against each other each year, the tension's not going to be as much. So you're looking forward to seeing Australia play England in 4 years' time when they come back here. And it's the same with the two World Cups. Play a T20 World Cup every 4th year and a 50-over World Cup every 4th year. And then your domestic games are creating formats where you're playing 50-over cricket, T20 cricket, and 4-day cricket to prepare for those different formats. Actually, when I come back to the World Cups, play them every 3rd year. So you play the World Test Championship final 1 year as a final, T20 World Cup the next year, and the 50-over World Cup the following year. So then you've got a major tournament in ICC every year. but cut back on international cricket. That's the bye series, T20s, 1 days, and play more Test cricket.
So I think the one interesting thing that I also agree with you is just don't play the T20 bilateral series. You are just having your own league, and you just don't want to give up because that makes money, and definitely you like it or hate it, you need money to sustain. So I also agree with you, and probably uh, there is a lot of challenges being two tier. Definitely you saying the one, what if India, Australia, Pakistan fall in the same group because they don't play.
Yep.
There is challenges, but I think we has to bring more of a competition in the series, and more of the equality, because Bangladesh hasn't played even a 3 match series since the WTC has started, and
Yep.
England, Australia are constantly playing. Why not Bangladesh play with the lower teams, probably West Indies? Because when the two best team compete, you get the greater quality. When the two below teams of same level play, you also get the same quality. But when you play with the top and the bottom, there
Yeah.
where the quality is lacking. So there are challenges, but I agree where the cricketing world is just trying to take to the cricket. I agree with that
Yeah.
point.
I think you just brought up a good point there. I think the second team, so Australia A are playing Sri Lanka at the moment. So you have your top teams, India, England, and Australia. Their A teams can go and play the second tier teams as well, just to try and improve the quality of cricket there as such. But as we talked about earlier, the depth of Australian cricket at the moment is a bit iffy, and will we have that quality Australia A team as well? So there's plenty of options out there, but I think the main issue is the calendar. We've got to make sure that cricket, when it is being played, is of high quality rather than quantity. And that's where we go to the T20 leagues, have them going on as much as they want. And we're seeing Indian investment in the T20 leagues all around the globe. So they'll want big bang for their bucks as well. So those T20 leagues are going to require more airtime down the track. And we don't want a scenario as well where players are actually choosing between international cricket and T20 franchise cricket. We want to have those windows where players are playing both. And if we want to keep Test cricket as the ultimate, well, let's just concentrate on that for international cricket every year. So there's more Test cricket being played, as I said, less bilateral series or no bilateral series, but just have a T20 and a 50 over World Cup every year. So World Test Championship final every 3 years, T20 World Cup every 3 years, World Cup every 50 over every 3 years. I like that. Now, is there anything else that we've got to cover before we go?
Definitely, I think I have to ask you this, is what's your take on the SS? I know it's too early to ask, but looking at the Aussie performance in Caribbean and looking how England are performing, I know there will be the difference of condition, everything else. It's too early, but I have to ask you, just what's your take? What do you think will be the score line or something like that in the next year SS? And another just little thing I wanna add. I hope you know your colleague Stodler has been the coach of Nepal, and
Yep.
the first series has been just wonderful. 3 out of 4 wins, and those heart attacks that we are used to now to get. Probably one something about you wanna tell about Stodler that we don't know. Maybe some memories, some fun memories that he might smile looking at this video if he looks.
Yep. Oh, look, Stewie Law. I'll go the Ashes series first, and then we'll finish on Stewie Law. I think the Ashes series is going to be absolutely breathtaking. I think if England have a full contingent of their players, their fast bowlers, so that's Wood and Archer, Trying to fit them in the same team is going to be quite difficult because you've got to play 5-day tests. And both of them bowl with sheer pace. Can you have them in the same team? Only if Ben Stokes can bowl the overs that he bowled out Birmingham, because he's got to take the load and allow them to bowl quick overs. And I think they've got to find a spinner that does an Ashley Giles type role where he just holds the pressure from one end. Not a genuine wicket taker, but is able to create that pressure and go for no more than 3 runs and over, maybe 2.5. So you want that Ashley Giles type bowler so that you can rest your fast bowlers coming from the other end. And I think Cast is just going to be world class when he comes over here. The way the English batsmen take on that good length delivery, I think over here in Australia against our quality attack, I think that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So it's game on in that aspect. I think their batters are good enough to take on our bowlers, and I think our batters are good enough to take on the England bowlers. I think don't take on what's happened over in the Caribbean. Testing conditions there. So basically, you've got a team that plays with conviction. That's the Bazball unit. And then you've got a team that's going to be playing knowing the Australian conditions are down pat. So Australia have got to play with the same conviction as England. If they don't, this is where England can get over the top. But I'm going to back the green and gold. It's never too early to ask it. Stuart Law. Competitor. Absolute competitor. When you walk out on that field, you know that you're in for a battle with Stuart Law. He was just so tough out there. Didn't mind a bit of chirp as well, which I loved. And yeah, he was always getting stuck into me. I remember I was 12th man, and I had to come out and field our point. He was batting, and he's played and missed a couple of times, and then he's dropped one in point. And I run in. They didn't take one, and I was sort of giving him a bit of a stare, and I can't remember what I said, but he just said, "Mate, you're the 12th man. You're just a cheerleader. You're just a cheerleader. You don't bat, you don't bowl. You're just a cheerleader." So yeah, he just loved that contest out in the middle, and probably it should have played a lot more for Australia. But we're very competitive back there, and we had a lot of talent around at that stage. And he's probably one player that's, if he looks back at his career, he'd be glad that he represented Australia. But if he was in a different era, he would have represented Australia a lot more. And that's what cricket's about. That's what life's about. Life's not fair. It gives you opportunities, and when those opportunities present themselves, you've got to take them and hope for the best. And you've got to control your emotions and not get overawed by it, and just let it flow and let life take you where it takes you, and just back your own skills and just try and play to the best of your ability. Don't overthink it, and don't let fear take control. And I can tell you, when you're in a high-performing state, fear can take control. So you've got to be able to control the fear. And I think that's it. I think I'll finish on that. And you're going engineering and aerospace. You're in a creative space. You've got to back that creativity, and you've got to back yourself that you're good enough to make that one change in life that when you're 60 you're going to be proud of. And just say, yeah, I'm proud of that. I did that, and I reckon you'll do that for sure. But thanks very much for joining me, mate. Thank you so much for that, and it was a pleasure talking to you. And thanks everyone for following Hogg's Vlog. If you want to join me, get on that Google form. So thanks very much, guys. We'll catch you later.